I would like to call this meeting to order Tuesday, April 28th. I would ask all to rise for invocation and the pledge. Let us pray, gracious Lord. We acknowledge you as the author of life and the source of freedom. You have made freedom a birthright for all people. So help us make full use of the freedom we enjoy and provide us with the hearts that appreciate this gracious gift. Give us all the will to preserve it, the determination to act responsibly within it, and the love to ensure that others have a similar opportunity to live in freedom. As we exercise the functions of our city government within that freedom, remind us of our civic responsibility to care for the citizens of this community. Grant mutual respect to all gathered here, that by our words and deeds you will be glorified, and that our witness will be an appropriate example for others. Give us the knowledge and courage to do what is right and just. Amen. And the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will ask the clerk to call roll.
Mr. Pracha, are you present?
Present. Present.
Ms. Young, are you present?
Present.
Ms. Davis, are you present?
Present.
Ms. Gunawardena, are you present?
Present.
Mr. Ferris, are you present?
Present.
And Mr. Holbrook, are you present?
Present.
Thank you.
I will now read communications. The mayor asks the clerk if there are any communications for council. Council then decides what course of action, if any, to take concerning correspondence received.
There is none, sir.
I will move to official reports. The mayor covers any items if he or she wants to bring to the attention of the citizens. He may ask different council members to read the proclamation and certificate of appreciation. I will ask Sahal, Deputy Mayor, to read the Youth and Government Proclamation.
Youth and Government Day Proclamation. Whereas awareness and involvement in local, state, and federal government are necessary goals for all our citizenry in order to maintain our democratic way of life, and whereas it is important for young citizens to learn about and understand the role of local government, since they will be affected by the decisions rendered and they will be responsible for the well-being of the communities in which they choose to live in the future. And whereas Centerville High School continues to educate and encourage young civic leaders by coordinating Youth in Government Day each year, and whereas all youth, educators, city officials, and residents of the city of Centerville benefit from the continuance of this outstanding tradition. Now, therefore, Deputy Mayor Sahal Pracha, of City of Centerville, Ohio, for this 2017 Youth in Government Day, do hereby proclaim that now and henceforth, Tuesday, April 25th, 2017, shall be officially designated as Youth in Government Day in the City of Centerville, Ohio.
I will now ask Ms. Jordan Davis to read the Youth and Government Proclamation. But prior to that, I will be signing this. And now, Jordan Davis will read the Youth and Government Day Appreciation.
A certificate of appreciation. Whereas each successive generation must work to maintain our freedoms and our representative form of government. And whereas the City of Centerville encourages youth to be aware of this responsibility and involved in government by coordinating Youth in Government Day with the Centerville High School each year. And whereas the City Council, on behalf of all residents, wishes to express sincere gratitude to all who facilitated and participated in this year's Youth in Government Day in the City of Centerville. Now therefore, I, Jordan Davis, council member for this Youth in Government Day, do hereby present greetings to and express sincere appreciation to the staff of the City of Centerville, the teachers, the students, and the elected officials for their involvement in this important event.
Thank you. The mayor calls upon the city manager to report on the current state of the administration of the city's affairs.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to comment on several projects in process. City crews are preparing for the Operation Clean Sweep, which the Public Works Department will comment on later. I am also pleased to report that at the end of the first quarter, all departments have operated within budget. We are also monitoring the governor's budget that is coming before legislation. Because that's coming before legislative attention to tax centralization proposals. We think this would be negative for our local legislators, and they think it would withdraw from our budget. Your Honor, I would like to call on several department heads to report. First, HR to update us on the summer employment and changes in staffing.
The City of Centerville is accepting applicants for summer labor positions in the Public Works Department to fill full-time and temporary shifts, 4 days a week and 10-hour days. Duties include mowing, trimming, painting, watering, waste collection, pavement repair, etc. And we are looking for people that can lift 60 pounds and work in all types of weather. And applicants must be at least 18, have a valid driver's license, and a high school diploma or equivalent. And the starting pay rate is $10 per hour. And if anyone you know is interested, they should submit an application to the City of Centerville.
Thank you. I would now like to call upon the Public Works Director and the City Engineer to talk about the spring construction and summer construction, as well as roads and the large items pickup.
Hello. Well, the spring cleaning is coming up next week, in the first week of May, and it's when everyone in the community can put out whatever trash they would like. Anything will be taken, and any amounts. Thank you.
For the city engineering, approaching summer, we were getting a lot of projects out. One of those projects is the resurfacing of East Franklin Street. It will be resurfaced from Main Street to Clio Road. It will be completed by June 23rd, so it'll be in time for the Americana Festival. And we're currently on a $500,000 budget with a state grant and federal grant combined for $200,000.
I would now like to call upon the head golf pro to update us on the season and finances.
April was a great month for us at Yankee Trace. Things are just going great. We're going to reach our revenue budget of $201,000. Through April 24th, we were at $191,000. That's only $10,000 off from hitting our budget, and we have 6 days left. Unfortunately, they're calling for some rain in the last 4 days of the month, so we project to finish at $205,000 to $210,000. That's still budget, but not surpassing. We will watch labor to save expenses to kickstart May, and we're expecting a great month because our leagues are coming back in May as well. So here's to another great month.
I would now like to call upon the Director of Food Service to update us on food and beverages and booking.
Hi. Our food and beverages have been going smoothly. Our quantities of each are accurate and large. We have had a steady increase in reservations due to the weddings, ceremonies, including the ward ceremonies and sports ceremonies. That is all. Thank you.
Your Honor, that completes our report.
Now I would like to read new business. Item A, Mayor reads the title of the item being considered by council. Calls for discussion, a motion, a second, and then a vote on the question. For more detail on the process, see the following. Can someone read the resolution?
A resolution authorizing all sworn officers, if so approved by the Chief of Police of the Centerville Police Department, to carry and administer the drug naloxone. Whereas the City of Centerville recognizing a growing concern in our area, and in an effort to reduce fatalities due to opioid overdoses, and whereas by providing the necessary training and funding for the safe administering of the drug Narcan, a medication that can reverse a potentially lethal conditioning caused by an opiate overdose. And whereas the proposed policy, General Order 41-311, administration of naloxone, Exhibit A, outlines procedures and practices under which all authorized users will administer naloxone in accordance with, and whereas public funds are hereby authorized for the necessary training and expenses associated with carrying and administering such drugs. Now therefore the municipality of Centerville hereby resolves, Section 1, the city manager hereby authorized to approve the policy and appropriate necessary public funds required for the training and implementation of the vital public health and safety effort, passed this 25th day of April 2017.
And I would like to call on the council for comments.
I am in favor of this resolution for various reasons.
Call for a motion.
Your Honor, I would like the police chief to speak a bit on this matter.
Sir.
Good morning. With this Narcan drug, we have a implementation of a 2-day block. The first day will include the Narcan implementation of when you need to revive someone. The second day is the trauma implement for after the fact. This will be funded by the Alcohol, Drug, Mental Health Services. They will give us the training for free. We would get the drug for free, and they help with the after fact of the recovering addicts. The drug is usually over the counter, $130 to $150 per tube, and it can revive 2 per pack. Last year we saw 6 to 7 deaths in a year, and this year alone we've already seen 6 to 7. The drugs are coming from East Dayton, and they're bringing them to Centerville, so the biggest epidemic is in East Dayton. That is all.
I would also like to ask the Director of Finance to speak a bit.
We didn't have a budget for our Narcan, but we are moving money from contingency funds to appropriate it. We're talking with the police department to estimate the amount needed. We already have a purchasing order, and we'll be able to adjust on need. We budgeted $25,000 for the rest of the year, and all appropriating will be will be corrected by the end of the year. That's all.
Result?
Yes.
Any other comments from
Yes.
the council members?
Yes. Do the staff or background have any information on whether or not this will encourage opioid use, since the public may grow aware that if they do have an overdose, they will just receive this drug?
I'd like to comment on this. I believe that for our constituents, we must give them a second chance. Every addict has a future, and I believe this drug is the answer. I don't think that it will give current drug users a safety, because we will work with them to rehabilitate and put them back on their track to leading a normal life. And that is all.
I would like to agree with Deputy Mayor. I feel like this town, our U.S. Constitution, our whole nation as a whole depends on rehabilitation, and I feel as if with this drug and with this substance, I feel like we can get back on that track. Other comments?
I agree that this may help with rehabilitation, but the previous speaker just spoke about how the drugs are coming from East Dayton. Shouldn't we be dealing with how the drugs are coming to the area rather than, because this resolution will do nothing to stop the spread of drugs. It'll only help the people who have already gotten the drugs.
I believe our primary concern is to save lives, and then worry about rehabilitation, and then drug usage later. Now, I believe we should end the problem at its roots. Would anyone like to expand on my ideas?
The police chief would.
Expanding upon that, we can arrest every single drug dealer that we have, but that's still not going to bring the epidemic. Like prohibition, once they outlawed alcohol, then they still found a way to get it. So these heroin users are still going to find a way to get it, but it's when we pull someone over for a simple traffic stop, then that's when we start to see that there's only doses for one user and not coming in bulk. So we can't stop that from the one user because we can't prove that they're dealing or not. Thank you.
I have a comment on that. If you're referring to the prohibition, we basically threw mass amounts of men and women in jail during that period of time, and there was a increased amount of corruption during those periods of times. Would you have anything to say on that, or?
I have a comment. I believe, to make things simple here, we should pass this resolution, and to get to the root of the problem, we can discuss that in further resolutions.
I oppose this bill as by simply giving them an out, by allowing them to overdose, and then by guaranteeing their life being saved afterwards. It would only serve as an encouragement that there is no ramifications for doing this drug. By not allowing this bill to pass and by not allowing this drug to become in circulation to help them recover from an overdose, then they would have the incentive to not do this drug in the first place, as the ramifications for it would be their life.
I'm not endorsing drug use. I'm just saying naloxone will assuage the tensions of our troubled citizens, and I feel like this is a step towards that. Now, we basically have a right and a duty to help our citizens throughout the city and do everything we can to help them. Now, I feel as if we can end on this note, and I call for a motion. Will anyone second my motion?
Second motion.
I call for a vote. Yeas, nays. Oh, roll call. So I call for motion, second motion.
Okay.
So, calling clerk for it.
Mr. Pracha?
Yay.
Mrs. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Gunawardena,
Nay.
Mr. Ferris,
Nay.
Mr. Holbrook,
Aye.
and Mr. Subswari.
Aye.
So this resolution has passed 5-2. And now our second order of business. The mayor asked for the the mayor asked the city manager for a report on the item as briefly as announcing Mr. Horn, the city manager, introduced the department head, or Mr. Strayer.
Yes.
The city manager introduces the department head who will explain the background and staff position on the issue. Following the presentation, the council may ask questions of the staff or law director. He may also ask if anyone in the audience would like to speak.
Just for clarification, are we moving on to the next resolution?
Yes, next resolution.
Okay.
So-
And I would call on Mrs. Theory to speak next.
A res.
I might make one suggestion. That item is such a long item, it might be worthy to just read what's in the agenda for the item before council. So I think the whole resolution is about 3 pages.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, a resolution imposing a moratorium for the period of 9 months, 270 days, on the granting of any permit for allowing retail dispensaries, cultivators, or processors of medical marijuana within the city of Centerville.
So just recently, Ohio has legalized medical marijuana. I think, first of all, we need to know what is practical, what areas appear to be good for dispensaries. So I'd ask the city planner to comment on this.
All right. If you'll give me just 1 second, I have maps for all of you that show locations where the dispensaries and the cultivator locations could be. All right, so as you see, the potential cultivator locations are marked in green on the map, and the dispensary locations are marked in pink. The cultivator locations are all inside as per the state law that was passed. And the dispensaries are separate from other businesses. You can't get medical marijuana at a CVS or another pharmacy, or you wouldn't be able to. And
would the location of the nursing homes such as Bethany or St. Leonard have any influence on the dispensary locations?
Well, I think if you consider the potential users of this medical marijuana, it would be to treat things such as chronic pains. So a location such as near Bethany would be potentially beneficial to the people who would be using the drug.
I would like to call on the chief of police to comment on any crime issues that might occur.
As a police department, we have to enforce the laws given to us. So whether that is to pass it, we have to follow those rules, or if not, then we still have to follow those rules where it's still illegal for recreational use right now. We see they're not necessarily crimes, more young people using it because it's the lower class drugs opposed to heroin. So then also we have to, in conclusion, we have to just abide by the laws. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to call on the economic administrator to speak about jobs and synergy.
Well, the best way for the community to have the most profit would be to mainly focus on potential cultivator locations, not only because we have more space in the community for them, but also because it's more discreet for the community. For those who don't necessarily agree with medical marijuana, it's not as retail as a dispensary location. You can typically get more income tax, and then they also have to pay a partial for all of the people that work there, so the salary would make more sense as well, because they would get a yearly salary instead of being paid hourly. So if they had, let's say, about 50 workers and they made a $45,000 salary, we'd get about a 50 grand in income tax, which would be very beneficial because it could pay for maybe like a garbage man or another maintenance worker.
Would there be any citizens who'd like to give their opinion?
Thank you for the opportunity to make a brief comment on this item. I think I speak for the vast majority of citizens in the city of Centerville who consider that marijuana is a gateway drug, and that if we were to allow cultivators and dispensaries in our community, we would just be opening up more opportunity for drugs to be in our community. And we just dealt with an item just before this on naloxone, on providing support for opiate users. I think this would be a step backward. So I would encourage council not to support, I would support the moratorium and not allowing cultivators or dispensaries in the city of Centerville until we have an opportunity to see what direction the state of Ohio is going to give us. Thank you for the opportunity.
So with no more comments from the city manager?
I think that the council may discuss this issue.
Yes, council comments?
Well, seeing as this moratorium would only apply to the city of Centerville, it may promote individuals to go to other counties to get the marijuana that they want. And this may not actually solve any of the issues related to the health detriments of marijuana.
Comments?
I see there's a potential dispensary location near the high school. Do you think with that could more high school students get their hands on marijuana?
Comment? Okay, yeah. So the location of the high school, first off, you need a prescription for medical marijuana in the first place. So unless these students had prescriptions, they would not be able to receive anything from the building. And it also is not typical smokable marijuana. Medical marijuana does not come in that form. It would be a pill or oil. So I don't think there's much of a risk of the place near the high school having much high school business.
I would like to comment. I would be against the moratorium because we can look at this on a national level. Through the 60s, the war on drugs, into the 70s, we've incarcerated and thrown many, unfortunately, African American individuals within our jailing system, and I believe this would do that exactly. We've been here before, and medical marijuana isn't exactly for recreational use. It's for use, as Mr. Bennett said, for medical purposes. And I believe if we can all be a little bit more mature and a little more understanding, because we obviously, a lot of us don't really need to have use for medical marijuana, and for those people who do need it, I feel like we should take them into consideration.
I have a comment. Several reasons. First, from the insight from the citizen, I believe that although I can't say I am for or against medical marijuana, since we are in a very preliminary stage in the state of Ohio, I do believe that we need some time to look at what's going on, how Ohio itself is going to proceed with this, and whether if it's going to expand to recreational marijuana. And then also, I believe there are some concerns with the sites of the near the high school. And although it is a prescription, although there's a prescription required, I feel as though some of our constituents feel that there will be some sort of theft or illegal access to this medical marijuana, even if it's for medical purposes. So while I can't say I am in complete agreement or disagreement with this, I do believe the resolution, I do favor the resolution just to figure out where things go in our city and in the state of Ohio.
I agree with Deputy Mayor Pracha, as simply this bill does not actually outlaw marijuana forever. If you look at Section 4, it states that for a period of 9 months and 270 days, it will allow the city manager, city planner, and city planning commission to propose and initiate actions to address issues in this bill. So if you look at the map, it using potential locations. In the end, locations may not be by Centerville High School. It could be in other areas of the town, as not each one of these potential locations will be used, only one. Maybe you'll even find another location. And there is no harm in simply waiting a period of 9 months to make a decision, as rushing in blindly often leads to mistakes that we will have to deal with later on.
I'll leave a comment. I believe certain policy and votes should be taken very seriously, and if we do make a wrong decision right now, that could lead to that could certainly lead to other decisions in the future. And I feel as if I'm strongly in opposition to a moratorium because people need this. People need it now, and we may not know. There are no public comments today on this issue from citizens who need medical marijuana. So I feel as if we're doing them a great injustice from debating this right here, but we should rather be taking their thoughts and their opinions into consideration. Any other comments?
I have one comment. If they have waited so long, I believe that they can wait another 9 months for the sake of the entire city of Centerville. Because, like you said, making a drastic choice or making a choice that is out of haste would actually damage the city.
I would actually believe some people cannot wait, and I feel as if we should not basically give a death sentence for that.
I'd like to comment as well. I believe that it's not really about an issue about waiting. I think we need to hear some more statistics about how many people in the city of Centerville really need medical marijuana at this moment. And we need more insight from our citizens before we can actually allow for medical marijuana to be dispensed. I do see the need for medical marijuana in many people who need it for illnesses and diseases, but I'd like to hear some more statistics and insight from our constituents, since those are the people we are serving.
Do you have any facts, Mr. Bennett? Any statistics, demographics, anything in relation to this?
Aside from location and several facts regarding the acquisition of licenses, I have no facts supporting, or I have no facts regarding the people that would be using said medical marijuana.
I would ask a question. How accessible would this be to, or what is the potential for these high school students to gain access to medical marijuana?
I believe the police chief could speak more on this matter.
As the police chief, we see a lot of cases in which we see this drug being used. We usually try to stop it in its early stages. So either we get informants to tell us where it's coming from, or how it's getting here, or how it's being used. Going along with those, trying to find facts about who's in favor or who opposes what of these dispensaries, I have none. Thank you.
I would like to say something. I feel like we should look at this from all components of like political spectrum. Not even that, maybe like a whole economic spectrum. Now, we may be the only city within like a good radius who opposes a moratorium, and if we do today, this could create a lot of traffic and a lot of people to come through our city to fulfill these to basically fill these prescriptions. Now, this could create good or bad business, so it could have a positive effect on a number of businesses as well, due to the attraction that medical marijuana brings in.
No. Would the Director of Finance like to comment?
In terms of what kind of effect that the businesses would have on our city, I don't think it would have anything to do with our budget, but maybe the economic develop director would have anything to say about that.
Comment or two? Yours?
Just to expand on what Mayor Subzwari was saying, we were provided with an article that stated that many municipalities have acted proactively by adopting moratoria, so I feel that we should not take any quick actions, as we see that many other counties in Ohio are also adopting moratoria to discuss whether or not we should have medical marijuana facilities. And I don't think we should compare Ohio to other states, and we should rather compare our specific city to other cities in Ohio. And we should also adopt a moratoria so that our entire state can come to a decision based on the research that we find during this period.
If we do adopt a moratorium, that would definitely bring some negative comments at hand or at large. Now, if we don't adopt a moratorium, I feel as if that could make the city of Centerville a leader in the charge to dissuade other cities against moratoriums, and to really bring the city of Centerville in the spotlight, basically, because we are one of those progressive cities that does accept and is culturally diverse, and I would just like that too.
Do we have any citizens that can comment on either a personal or any type of need for medical marijuana at this time, or a consensus on their specific area and the need for medical marijuana?
I'm Joanne Rao. I live at 1370 Seminary View Drive in Centerville, Ohio. And I can speak about my dear past grandmother, who was very ill in her later days and certainly suffered tremendous pain during her final days. And I certainly believe that medical marijuana would have helped relieve some of that pain. And I would hope that the community can come together and try to help people with these kind of medical conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I would like to make it clear that a moratorium would allow the legal prohibition of medical marijuana for the time being. And if no other comments, I would like to call for a motion.
Just one last comment. At least to my general knowledge, I believe if we were to pass this moratorium, we could always come up with another resolution or bill to take it away. So just as a safety, a reminder to the council members and everybody else that just as a safety, although I hear the concerns, and like I said, I can't disagree or agree at this moment, I'd like to remind, at least to my general knowledge, we can have further resolutions to remove this moratorium.
Just one final comment. I would like to direct a question to Mr. Bennett, who at this time you said that you had no facts regarding if medical marijuana would positively impact the city of Centerville. Now, with this moratorium, which would give you an extra 9 months and 270 days, do you believe that you can get more facts and information that would either support or deny the implementation of medical marijuana?
I do not believe that is very relevant to my department. I'm the city planner.
Well, I apologize, but I do feel that under the time of 9 months, it would allow some of our city employees to gather more facts supporting or denying medical marijuana.
on one last note, like final note, I would like to say that we cannot wait. A woman's grandmother died in pain. Now, if we wait another 9 months, we could be the city who waited. Do we want to be the city who waited? Do we want to be the city who acted now? Now we need to act now and vote against this moratorium. I don't want another grandmother to suffer. I want to be in the spotlight. I want to lead the city against the moratorium and allow medical marijuana everywhere. Thank you. No other comments. I would like to call for a motion.
Second.
Mr. Concha?
Nay.
Mrs. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mrs. Gunawardena?
Aye.
Mr. Ferris?
Aye.
And Mr. Holbrook?
Aye.
Mr. Subswari?
Nay. The resolution is passed 5-2.
At this time, we would like to address any citizen comments or petitions.
Brooks Compton, 350 Rose Lake Drive, Centerville. Want to appreciate all your hard work. We really appreciate all that you do for the city. And I know that last medical marijuana moratorium was a tough one, but we appreciate all your efforts and comments. So I think that's probably all of the citizens' comments you'll have today, but thank you all for your comments and glad, appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. And and I would like to thank everybody for participating. And I feel as if our debates were heated, but we all came together in the end. And on this beautiful Tuesday morning, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
We're still on.